Hello, everybody. It's Russ from the West End Network. Hope you're all safe and well with the evening show, the Friday night evening show. Hope you're having a lovely Friday night. Hope you're having a lovely dinner if you're in the UK. It's been another busy day of transfer rumours and stories. We've obviously did a few shows today already, talking about players leaving, players joining, a little sort of fact file about Carlos Borges, who could be an imminent signing by all accounts, with the buyback clause apparently agreed at around 38 to 40 million pounds, which ain't too shabby. I don't think it's too shabby, to be honest. But there's been some more stories coming out to players leaving, and an ex-player also in terms of their potential next destination, which could out West Ham throughout the summer transfer window, and we'll get to that in a minute. Let's start with a potential in. West Ham are apparently trying to sign Jean-Clair Todibo this summer, according to Nice Matin. The West Ham side have made an approach to sign him from Nice in the summer transfer window. He's rated at £26 million and was approached by the Hammers, according to the report from France. However, the 23-year-old would apparently prefer to stay with Nice. Obviously, it sounds very familiar to last transfer window. Thierry Moffy for Lorient. He then goes back. He then stays at Nice. He joins Nice, and apparently Jean-Clair also wants to stay there. He left Barcelona for Nice for around £7.3 million. About €8 million back in the summer of 2021. Sport claimed that he will cost any prospective buyers around 26 million quid now. That kind of fee would be well worth it, I think, for West Ham, if we can somehow convince him to join us. He's very strong in the air. He's very quick, very rapid, good in the tackle as well. He in 34 League A outings last season averaged a couple of tackles a game, 1.2 interceptions and 3.1 clearances per game. I think he could be a really strong signing for us in terms of that centre back. At 23, he's still got his formative years ahead of us. And, that sort of French contingent of players, or French-speaking contingent of players, with the likes of Zuma, Agad, obviously speaks French, Adeola, and then you've got guys like Paqueta, who played for Lyon for several years. So, to me, that's in the right ballpark. In the right ballpark of the types of players we should be looking at. Young, experienced, obviously he has played at Barcelona as well, but probably want to go to us. He wants to stay in Nice. Wouldn't you, with the weather? Very nice weather there. In terms of player outs, we were made aware that the whole under 21 squad pretty much is available for loan. There was talk of Callum Marshall potentially going out on loan, but it's been confirmed by the club that Freddie Potts has joined League One side Wycombe Wanderers on a season-long loan. 19-year-old was part of the Hammers squad, obviously, which won the Conference League in June. He was in the squad itself in the finals, and he will spend this season with Matt Bloomfield's Chair Boys. That's the nickname for him, isn't it? He joined the club. Potsy joined the club when he was at the age of 6. Obviously, graduated from the Academy of Football and signed his first pro contract in June 2021. Obviously, he made his debut against Dinamo Zagreb in the Europa League in December 2021 and signed a new 3-year deal earlier this month, which was announced when the side was in Australia for the preseason friendlies against Perth Glory and Spurs. Last season, he was in Moyes' matchday squad for 8 occasions in the Conference League, including the final, and made a substitution appearance in the group stages against FCSB and in the round of 16 against AEK Larnaca at London Stadium. Wycombe themselves, they finished 9th in League One last year, and obviously looking to improve that. I think they finished about 8 or 9 points outside the playoff places. And Potsy could make his competitive debut next weekend when Wycombe play Exeter City at home in the first game of the new season. We wish Freddie all the best with his loan spell. Obviously, one of the ones who we thought were going to get some more game time, but as I said today in the show at lunchtime, he's got at the moment so many players ahead of him Actually a move. I just realised I've blocked off Freddie's face the whole time. Unbelievable, Jeff. There we go. So I think it's a great opportunity for him to go out and get some minutes. He'll get more game time minutes than he would do at West Ham in terms of first team, which is where he needs to be playing now rather than under 21s. He needs to be playing in the first team and getting regular football. So we wish him all the best. Obviously, you look at his brother Danny. Obviously, he was at the club. They moved, went to Luton, and now obviously back in the Premier League now. So obviously, I'm not saying Freddie's going because I think he's a good player, and I think he's going to be someone who's, could be the future of West Ham in terms of the academy players coming through, him and Devine. But I think it's a great move for him. I generally think it's a great move for him, and we wish him all the best. And obviously, his dad won't have to watch out for him so much because he's, obviously his dad is around the academy, and now Freddie's going to be in Wickham. So there we go, fair play. Another potential in, and we've spoken about this gentleman before, the Japanese international midfielder Ao Tanaka. Apparently, according to Rheinische Post, the German newspaper, reported in their print version today that the Fortuna Düsseldorf midfielder could be on the move within the next 24 hours. There isn't currently an offer on the table for him, but a move could take place before the Bundesliga kicks off tomorrow. Apparently, it said that the Hammers have joined the race to sign the 24-year-old, and they've been joined by Bundesliga side Stuttgart, as well as fellow English clubs Fulham, and Championship players West Brom and Leicester City. Now, a move for him could be a quite shrewd one. Obviously, someone like Tim Steindl would have known of him and know of him because although it's Bundesliga 2 he's playing in, he obviously will be aware of his abilities. If we can land him for a reasonable fee, I think that could be very good. Obviously, there's question marks over whether he's good enough for the Premier League. And the newspaper claims the midfielder has a clause in his contract that would allow clubs to sign him for about £4 million, 4.3 million, if they sign him before the 30th of May. So I think for that, which is relatively low price, that's pump money to me. And so it's relatively low risk. And also, from a marketing perspective, opening up West Ham to the Japanese market potentially for some of their international players could be really, really. Well, you'd make your money back on that £4 million pretty sharpish. I mean, he's signed for Fortuna Düsseldorf from Japanese side Kawasaki Frontale in 2021. He's only played in the German second division, and he scored 2 goals and 4 assists in 55 appearances. Although he did play a key role in Japan's excellent World Cup performance last year. But true to form, being a West Ham linked player, he suffered a medial knee ligament injury in April, which cut his season short, and that will be a concern, of course. So I think, again, for a decently low fee, particularly with extra games in Europe and obviously the cup games and things like that, I don't think he'd be too much of a shabby Alonso, in all honesty, in terms of getting him in. So let me know. Obviously, we've been linked with other Japanese players like Goto, the 18-year-old striker who's like massive. But Tanaka could be one that just comes in and just, he'll bring quality. He's a great player for the Japanese national side, that's for sure. And at as I said, £4 million, it's nothing really when it comes to football, which is crazy when you think £4 million not a lot, but do you know what I mean? In terms of others, now let's bring back an old one, Manuel Lanzini. Now, obviously, he left the club. He was let go. He wasn't on the retained list for the upcoming Premier League season, and he is apparently in advanced talks to sign for Real Betis following the expiration of his West Ham contract, according to Informe Betis. The news outlet reported today that if no setbacks occur, the deal could be completed as soon as next week, with Manuel Pellegrini, the Real Betis boss, giving the okay for the move. Now, the reason why this is interesting is, yes, he does reunite with his former West Ham manager, but what could be good is obviously one of the players who was also linked with a move to Real Betis, and that being Pablo Fornals. Now, obviously, they've already signed, I think it's an Isco on a free transfer, someone mentioned in the comments the other day. And if they sign Lanzini, surely that might mean that someone like Fornals is less likely to be, particularly they'll have to pay a significant transfer fee on Pellegrini's radar. So we shall see. I mean, Lanzini could prove a valuable asset to Real Betis and could earn some really good game time, considering considering Pellegrini's already sanctioned the move. So obviously, hopefully, he goes, and we wish him all the best. And lastly, let's talk about another outgoing. Now, our friend Nikola Vlasic. Remember him? Still sort of trying to angle for this move to Torino, and they're still chatting. But he did an article apparently which was released on Tutto Sport and been covered by a few people. But basically, he's fed up. I'm fed up, he says, with this dead end situation. We all know that I'm not considered an important player here. I'm just one of many in the reserve group. I returned to London respecting the call up with great fairness, and I'm training every day with the utmost professionalism, but this cannot be the solution. I've been telling you for 2 months that I want to play for Turin, that I no longer want to stay at West Ham under these conditions, on the sidelines, and also that my family never wants to go back to live in England. And also, I'm not interested in valuing other market hypotheses. If there ever were, your behaviour is incomprehensible. I know that Torino have offered you €9 million for a long time, an important figure, respectful of my value and your needs. But you don't intend to negotiate with Torino. You repeat that it's not enough, but you still don't communicate to the Italian club that with the right figure is, in your opinion. I'm worried. I will continue training with great seriousness, but it can't go on like this. Wow. Love it. Fair play. What a way to orchestrate your move out of the club just by turning up and saying, you're doing nothing. And so, that's how the West Ham fan base feel a bit as well. So, it's coming out with Vlasic's comments as well. Anyway, I just thought it was quite a funny end to it. We know Nicola hasn't got a future at West Ham. So just get off the books now, innit? Just get off the books. It gets embarrassing. He shouldn't be saying that type of thing. He's still a contracted player at West Ham. I appreciate his frustration. And obviously he's done this as probably a final nail in the coffin to make sure he gets his move. But still, it's the same thing with Antonio. I had words of Antonio, my thoughts about Antonio sort of speaking out, during a season. I know some people go, well, it's his thoughts and he's all thinking it. And yeah, I'm not saying he's not thinking that. I'm not saying we're not thinking that. But when you're employed by a club and they pay your wages, you sort of toe the party line, in my opinion. Again, you might not agree, but that's what I suggest. Anyway, and that's it, my friends. I hope you have a great rest of your evening on Friday. That being today. Any breaking news, any signings, we'll bring to you as soon as possible. And obviously, we turn to the friendly tomorrow against Stade Rennes. I think it's on the club website. It's been streamed on the YouTube channel as well, on West Ham YouTube channel. And I've seen a lot of people on their way out there as well, which is great. So safe travels, bon voyage. And hopefully you get to have a great time out there. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Come on, you bloody irons. And Vlasic is fed up. Much love. Bye-bye.